Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Unnamed Sports Show. I'm here with my co-host, Jason. What's going on, Jason? How you doing today?
Doing pretty good, How about yourself?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Been a long week of work. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been a long week of work. But hey, we're here. You and me. Obviously, everybody can tell we're without Ryan today. He was sad about his Browns losing in the wild card round, so he didn't want to join us. Didn't want to hear all the flack from us. Nah, just kidding. He's on a work trip. He's out of town, so we got those day jobs. Those obviously come first.
Certain priorities. Certain priorities.
Don't quit your day job, folks. If you haven't done so, please follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Unnamed Sports S. If you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. If you're following on Twitch, feel free to do the same. Hop in the live chat. I know in the past couple of shows we've been pretty interactive in there, so it's been good to see. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. We did this a couple of weeks ago. We're gonna start this week with Jason's Moonshot bet. We got a couple of 7:30 games coming up on it, so we want to get that rolling, so you guys can get those picks in. Because it's sure to be a winner this week, right, Jason?
I mean, can you go 0-11 really? I don't think you can, right?
The Detroit Pistons and the Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns of the past would disagree with you, but we're not those teams. We're not those teams.
We're about to, excuse to the people that don't know League of Legends, but we're about to hit that 0-10 power spike, all right? We're about to hit that 0-10 power spike.
All right. Here we go. We're gonna get it rolling. All right.
So what we have for you today, my people, my DJs, my people that still are following me to the end of the moon, even though we're scraping and crawling and fighting for this win. But we're going to get one, all right? And when we do, we'll be shooting for the moon, all right? So this one, well, we dialed it down a little bit. We have plus 1,988 odds. For the Cavs versus the Bucks, we have Donovan Mitchell at 25 points. Donovan Mitchell is a bucket. He's going against another bucket player, Damian Lillard, who also is going for 25 points. These are two players that scored 71 points at a time. Can they get 25? Absolutely.
If
Ryan was here,
I don't have the check. Sorry, but check.
All right, Jared Allen, center for the Cavs, probably the person that benefits the most from Giannis not being able to play this game. We're going 15-10. You might even be able to up those a little bit, if you want. But for my bet, we're just trying to get some easy dubs. There it is.
There you go.
Check. All right. For the Rockets versus Knicks, we have, I'm not going to say this right, Erpiran Sengun. 20 points, 8 rebounds. He is a up-and-coming center, and I believe he is a easy 20-10 guy. We're going to drop it down a little and go 20-8. For this reason, because of Julius Randle. Julius Randle has been playing pretty lights out recently. So we're going Julius Randle 25 points, and I think Jerry has something to show everyone.
Check.
Oh, that's a check. That's a check. Jalen Brunson, point guard for the Knicks. He's going to get 20. I was thinking 25, but he's definitely going to get 20. So again, drop it down.
Hey, 25, no check. 20, check.
Easy check. All right. Victor Wembanyama, youngster, maybe possibly rookie of the year. Can he get 15 against the Celtics? I didn't see anything for Porzingis. I think he's not matching up against one of their better centers. So 15 easy. Jason Tatum, the only balance in the Celtics betting circle, 20 points. Nothing more, nothing less. We're going to get that 20 points from Jason Tatum. Paolo Banchero, a person that has been improving increasingly throughout the whole season. Used to be my safe 20-person point bet. Good 25 right now. He's on a little good streak. So we're going to put those bets in. We're going to lock it in. We're going to get what are we going to get, Jerry?
Check.
A check on all those. And then we're gonna shoot for the moon, and we're gonna get that plus 1,988 odds, and be 1-10, and hit that power spike, and continue to win.
That's right, baby. Well, we're not going to continue to win. We're going to start to win.
Hey,
It
it
starts
starts
today.
to
It
win.
starts today. All right. Remember, I believe all of these games start at 7:30. So if you want to hop on, if you want to ride with us, get those bets in. Jason's also not going to tell you that we had it at almost plus 4,000 before Giannis was declared out for the game. But hey, we'll let that slide. We'll let it slide. All right, 7:30. Get those bets in, people. Get those bets in. All right. And now, the reason everybody's here is to talk about this weekend and what happened in the NFL Super Wildcard weekend. Super Wildcard weekend. Starting off on Saturday, we were all together. We were at Ryan's apartment, and it was a beatdown. Texans 45, Browns 14. Joe Flacco back-to-back pick sixes. What did you think, Jason? What do you think? What happened?
I think the magic finally went away, and I think coaches, specifically D'Amico Rand's, had his number, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, there was a video actually I saw on Twitter earlier today, where it's him talking to one of his linebackers, like, stare at the quarterback, and as soon as you see him switch his hips, jump the route and undercut it, and Joe Flacco got caught out, and you also didn't see a lot from the Browns defense. Yeah, Joe Flacco didn't play that well, but you really expected a good game from the Browns defense and for them to carry the game, and they weren't able to get pressure that often, if at all. And CJ Stroud was going to eat that alive. So
Yeah.
Joe Flacco kind of fell on his face, yeah, but their defense also didn't show up today.
Yeah, I think the injuries just finally caught up to him. It was bound to happen eventually, and when you're playing a team like the Texans, who's been on an absolute tear with C.J. Stroud at quarterback, it's gonna happen. Like you said, defense just didn't show up. Jim Schwartz completely put away all of his blitz packages. They were not blitzing the quarterback, not trying to get any pressure whatsoever. C.J. Stroud had all day to throw, and he took advantage of it. He was absolutely lights out. Browns defense just couldn't stop anybody. I will say this: Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah looks like one of the best linebackers in the league.
Dog.
He was in on every single play that the Browns were on defense. He was at the quarterback when they were actually, blitzing. He was at the quarterback before the ball was even snapped. I mean, he was just all over the field flying around. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. The safeties got burned a few times. Myles Garrett was an absolute no-show in that game. He did not make a difference whatsoever. I think that's in part because they were not blitzing. They weren't forcing one-on-ones with Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I mean,
he was getting double and triple teamed every single play.
Yeah, every single play.
Yeah.
And if you allow that to happen, your best player isn't going to be able to make an impact. I mean, people said the same thing with Aaron Donald in the playoffs, and it was, again, if you're able to triple team a player, it's hard for anyone to do anything against that. So
Right.
that definitely focus on trying to get him one-on-ones next year.
Yep. So unfortunate for Browns fans. But hey, when you have that many injuries and you're able to get into the playoffs with a really good record still, and Stefanski's probably going to win Coach of the Year, kudos to you. It'll be exciting to see what happens next year. As for the Texans, they go on the road to face the Baltimore Ravens this weekend. Huge game. They played in week 1. It didn't go so well for the Texans, but we'll get into that matchup later. Saturday night, the Ice Bowl at Arrowhead. Chiefs take down the Dolphins 26-7. Patrick Mahomes does it again. Rashee Rice looked awesome. Isaiah Pacheco looked awesome. Travis Kelce had a nice game. The Dolphins. I told you the Dolphins cannot play in the cold, dog. They can't do it.
It's too a fraud.
I think he was just cold. Hey, no, I can't even say no Jalen Waddle because he was on the field. I mean, they had Mostert, they had everybody. They just did not look good. Their defense was giving up some weren't even giving up big plays. They just weren't able to stop the Chiefs from sustaining good drives, because the Chiefs
Mhm.
weren't blowing it up. They weren't
Nope.
hitting the big plays. They were just ground pounding like you're supposed to do in that kind of weather. I mean, and when it's when it's that cold, you don't want to tackle a guy like Isaiah Pacheco. He was made to run in the cold the way that dude runs, just body to body. You don't want to tackle a guy like that. I don't know. What'd you think of the game?
Same thing. I mean, I think the Chiefs are actually figuring out their identity for this season. Obviously, yes, Patrick Mahomes is your breadwinner, but they're relying on their defense. So they're trying to not make mistakes. They're trying to just consistently keep the ball, not have their defense on the field the whole time, and allow their defense to win games. And they're winning them games. So if they keep that up, I don't want to say it, but half your prediction might be looking okay.
Hey, I've seen this story play out, man. I've seen this story play out. I think the Chiefs also figured out if they just don't throw the ball to any other receiver except for Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce, they'll be all right. Because Rashee Rice, he's turning out to be
Yeah.
pretty dang good.
I didn't think they had a true number one on their team. They definitely do with Rashid Rice.
Absolutely. So Dolphins eliminated. We'll see what happens in the off season. I don't know. I've heard rumors about them possibly getting rid of Tua and maybe
Mm.
looking to draft a quarterback. So maybe
I
sign somebody.
don't think it'll be a draft. I think it'll be a pickup. I've
Yeah,
heard rumors of.
yeah. So the Chiefs move on. They'll face the next team that we're going to talk about on the road this weekend. This game was supposed to be played Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Unfortunately, it got postponed to Monday, which actually kind of worked out. 2 games each day. But because of the weather, it was postponed to Monday at 4:30, I believe. Bills take down the Steelers at home, 31-17. I think no surprise to anybody here. The Steelers are the Steelers. They can't really play offense. They can't really do anything, especially with T.J. Watt out. Mike Tomlin said he's going to be sticking around for next year.
You can't keep getting away with this.
They said he's going to try to stick around for next year and sign a long-term deal. I don't know if the Steelers are on board with that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know.
They are
What do you
like
think?
until they have a different owner, until they have different people above him. I think he's going to be the head coach there as long as he keeps winning. Unfortunately for that team, because I mean that franchise is high on the championship list, and I don't see any future where they keep him as the coach. They continue to win champions because if you can't lose, you're not ever going to be able to rebuild. So
Right.
um, it's tough. I mean, like again, who do you replace him with to and have better outcomes with? And it's just like at a certain point, you just got to take your losses and nip them out because that
Yeah.
not only is that franchise in a bad spot. I think the team itself, the roster itself, is in a bad spot. No one trusts each other. No one's playing for each other. No one's playing with each other. So it's not a good look, in my opinion. I mean, they'll keep going 8 and whatever, and barely in that playoff bubble. But
Yeah.
some players aren't going to want to stay, and like a player like T.J. Watt, who is could probably be considered one of the better defenders in our lifetime. Um, isn't going to be able to see good games and see good opportunities to make a championship. So I doubt he will continue to want to play for them, even though he just got paid. But we'll see.
Yeah. See, I think with Mike Tomlin, if the Steelers were going to do it, this would be the year to do it because there's a lot of good candidates out there.
Hmm.
Any other year, it's just like, who are you going to get that's better? The guy leads you to 10, 11 wins each season. He hasn't had a losing season since he's been the head coach of the Steelers. But like you said, they're going to be just mediocre forever. They're not going to fall to the bottom of the league and get a number one draft pick. They're also not going to win championships. So it's like, do you want to fire everybody and start over? You know, end up trading guys for picks, or do you just want to be in this middle spot forever? It'll be interesting to see what the Steelers end up doing. As for the Bills, This game, I mean, the game was kind of close. The Bills went up 21-0. The Steelers ended up bringing it back. It was one score game at the end of the third quarter, I believe.
Yeah.
But the Bill, it shouldn't have been, right? It should not have been. The Bills were dominating the entire game and looked good, at least for most of the first half.
Yeah.
Josh Allen played like Josh Allen does. He actually played a dang good game, didn't make any stupid mistakes. His touchdown run was freaking awesome.
That was insane. The juke,
Yeah.
he was like, ugh. But not only that, give credit to James Cook for finally bringing this team, I think, 100% together, giving them another weapon to actually attack on their offense with.
Yeah. And the people saying that Josh Allen on his touchdown run, saying that was a fake slide. No.
No.
He just hit the
No.
hezzy. He just hit the
Yeah,
hezzy and he's out of there. 52-yard touchdown run. And I by the way, we'll get into it with the Cowboys game, but I put in a parlay. Dak Prescott 350 plus, CD 150 plus, and Josh Allen to score. I was pretty dang close. 40
Really?
yards from CD is all I was missing on that. So yeah, but Josh Allen got that anytime touchdown. 52-yard touchdown run from him. Bills move on. They will host the Chiefs this weekend on Sunday night, and probably what is expected to be the most anticipated matchup of this weekend. But that's it for the AFC side of things. As for the NFC, boy, oh boy. How about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys?
I saw a clip from Will Compton. He has his own podcast show, and that man was cracking me up. He's like, "Listen, if you know a Cowboy fan, reach out to him now." Said, "Put it down. You don't want to do it." Because if I was a Cowboy fan and I continued to get my hopes up, and every time just get punched in the face with the right hook in the playoffs in the brightest spot, oh, I rather not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'll be a Jags fan.
Yep. Yep. I'm in the same boat, man. Broncos haven't been to the playoffs since we won the Super Bowl in 2016, and that is A-okay. Because, man, to have a third-year quarterback in Jordan Love come in and do what he did to that team at home when you haven't lost all season long at home. I know. Final score, by the way, I didn't say it earlier. Final score: Packers 48, Cowboys 32. I know people are going to say it's only a 2-score game. No, the Packers absolutely manhandled the Cowboys, and Dak Prescott for the first half and half a quarter. So we'll say midway through the third quarter. He could not throw the ball to save his life. He also had back-to-back pick sixes. One of them got called back because of a penalty, and they ended up going down to score anyways. But you want to talk about a dude underperforming, underachieving. People are going to say 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. No. First half, could not do anything. They could not move the ball. I think he had 0 passing yards in the first quarter. It's just absolutely embarrassing every single year what the Cowboys do. It's honestly just great to watch. It is. I can't stand the Cowboys. I think anybody who is not a Cowboys fan probably absolutely hates them. That's kind of one of those teams.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah. As for Mike McCarthy,
Gone.
Has to be, right?
Absolutely. I think if that job frees up, that becomes probably top 2 best job to have. I mean, it depends on if you're a team builder or you want to win right away, right? Like, I mean, that team's ready to win. They have the pieces. A Trayvon Diggs injury probably changes a lot. Or a healthy Trayvon Diggs changes a lot. They need an interior linebacker. I saw a crazy stat where they were in They had 6 DBs, and I think it was 48 out of like 56 times the ball was snapped on defense.
Well, see, the problem is they have Leighton Vander Esch, who's a really good interior linebacker. He's just out for the year. Another injury to that Cowboys defense.
Yeah.
That could have made a difference.
See, yes, I agree with what you're saying. His rookie year was really good. I just think since his rookie year, he has digressed. But you also have Micah Parsons, and yes, he's one of the best pass rushers ever. You just got to be able to put him in multiple places if you're struggling that bad, because he can play that as well. So I think it has to do with coaching, obviously, and yeah, they don't have the best interior linebackers now with the injuries that they have, but you got to shore up that spot, and I think that you have to spend a number one pick on it next year, but we'll see.
Yep, absolutely. So Cowboys fall again to the Packers. Packers will go on the road to face the number 1 seed San Francisco 49ers. Should be, I think, a good game. Great uniform matchup. Just a classic 90s matchup. Jordan Love versus Brock Purdy here. 2 young guns. Could be the future of the league. It's going to be an exciting one. Sunday night. The Lions defeat the Rams at home 24-23. And definitely the best game of the weekend. Closest game of the weekend. The only one that was a 1-score game. Both teams, I think, really showed up this game. The Lions defense made stops when they had to. Jared Goff looked really good. Jahmyr Gibbs looked freaking awesome, as he has all season long, basically. Definitely going to become that number 1 back for the Detroit Lions. Going to be a star in the future. But the Detroit Lions, yeah, absolutely superstar. The Detroit Lions win a playoff game for the first time in a long time. First home playoff game in a long time. And now, because of the Cowboys losing at home, the Detroit Lions get another home playoff game. Is this the year of destiny for the Detroit Lions, Jason? Is this the year?
I mean, they make it to the AFC champion or the NFC championship, I believe. Did they make it to the Super Bowl? Not so fast, my friend. I'm sorry. Sorry to tell you, the 49ers are just too good. That being said, they could get blown out next week, and Jared Goff probably doesn't have to pay for another beer in Detroit ever. So,
Yeah. They're already
um,
claiming him the king of Detroit. They're
yeah,
like outside his car, stopping
you
him,
know,
and
just
yeah,
him and his dad, like,
yeah,
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 yeah. He never has to pay for another beer in his life. Like, I think they were at a point to where they had yes, obviously, in their minds, it's not a successful season, but I don't think you could ever look back and say the Detroit Lions making it to the playoffs and winning a playoff game would be a bad season for them. So,
yeah,
I think again, there's just a couple missing pieces on the defense. I think their offense pretty set. Good offense line, solid quarterback. You have 2 good really running backs. You have a number 1 receiver. Jameson Williams looks like he's starting to catch on. He gets a little bit more. They have Sam Laporta, who's probably going to be the Travis Kelsey of this generation, in my opinion, from what I've seen. So I think they're ready on offense. They're just missing a couple pieces on defense, and I think they can figure that out this next offseason and become whereas Super Bowl or die is
yeah.
like a disappointing season. But if they make it to the NFC Championship, kudos to everyone on that organization because they've done a lot for it. I would say.
Yeah, and you can definitely see the window starting to open, if not already opened, for the Detroit Lions.
It's open.
It's there.
It's open. It's just a little
It's
tiny crack.
cracked. Yeah. Yeah, no, they're going to be an exciting team to watch, especially if they keep Dan Campbell at quarterback, and especially if Ben Johnson ends up staying too, because he has been an absolute wizard with that offense, and what Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown and those guys have been able to do.
If that man is on that team next year, that's a crime to the rest of the NFL because
Yeah,
that offense that he has going it's great. It's great to
but
watch.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him stay with that team the way Dan Campbell's gotten everybody to buy in.
True. True. But throw a bag.
Yeah, somebody's going to. Someone's going to.
Throw a bag.
Yeah. Did you see the picture that was taken? I think it was before the game. All-time Detroit picture of Eminem, Barry Sanders, Big Sean, and Calvin Johnson.
No, I didn't see
Just
that.
all-star picture, man. If go on Twitter and check it out.
I'll
It's
check it.
it's an awesome picture. It's a bunch of legends just chopping it up together, man. So yeah, Rams eliminated. Matthew Stafford unable to take down his former team. Played a pretty good game. I don't know how he got back in the game after the concussion protocol because that dude did not know where he was at after he hit the
No.
ground.
Okay.
But
Talking about another funny video, I saw one where it
oh
was like
no,
the ref is over top of him, like, "Do you know where you are?" He's like, "Yeah, we're in LA." Like,
uh,
he's good. I was like, "No."
yeah. So the Lions, like I said, will host the next team we're gonna talk about in another home playoff game. But this one, I think I think a lot of people had this one circled. A lot of people saw Eagles -2.5. I think it even creeped up to 3 at one point on the road against the Buccaneers. And I think everybody hammered the Buccaneers on this one. I think oh. Hmm? Hmm? Oh, yeah. Yes, someone did. Buccaneers take down the Eagles 32-9. Baker Mayfield absolutely dicing it up against that Eagles defense because the Eagles just forgot how to tackle. The Eagles forgot how to get pressure on the quarterback. Eagles forgot how to play football. Nick Sirianni getting popcorn poured on him at the end of the game because he sucks as a coach. He's got to be out of there. That being said, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are awesome. Everybody forgot how loaded that team is and how talented that team is on the offensive side of the ball.
True.
They got a bunch of Super Bowl winners over there. They got a really good defense again. Their defense has been underrated all season long. Can they get it done against the Lions this weekend? We will talk about it in a little bit, but let's talk about the Buccaneers and the Eagles. What happened, Jason? What happened in this game?
Baker Mayfield came out sniffing them salts and came to play. Like, what can you say? I mean, I keep seeing the meme over and over again, but Nick Bosa gave it the blueprint to beat the Eagles, and boy, has it worked since because they're not winning games. And you get that figured out. I mean, that team also looks distraught. The poor Jason Kelsey probably going to retire after this year. He said it's not official, but it's probably
I
official.
think they made it official.
And it got leaked, and he said I can't make a decision after that type of game.
Hmm.
But he continues to hit to it and is crying after he says that. So I would assume,
Yeah,
but
he's
you never
gone.
know. By the way, Mama Craig, Ryan is in Orlando.
Yes, he is out of town
Or
on a work trip, unable to join us tonight.
in
So
Florida.
Jason and I spun a wheel before before the show started to see who would host, and I was the winner. So here we are.
Here we
Um,
are.
yeah,
But yeah, um, the
Eagles. Eagles
The
suck.
Eagles don't seem to be together. I I feel like after this year, the Eagles are going to actually have some real big issues to get their roster back together and on point. But you saw what the Buccaneers did. They came out and then played like they wanted to win a Super Bowl, and they
Mhm.
did that. And I bet a lot of Browns fans, they'll draft Joe Flacco carried them to the playoffs. Are wishing,
Hmm.
that could be us right now. That
It
could be us.
should be me. Yeah, the Buccaneers. I don't know. I'm riding high on the Buccaneers, man. They looked good. They looked good coming down the stretch. They won 5 of their last 6. Kind of getting hot at the right time, and with a bunch of experienced guys like that, you never know what can happen in the playoffs. You never know.
True.
But that wraps up NFL
Ooh!
Super Wild Card Weekend. Pretty good weekend of football. A lot of blowouts, unfortunately. But nonetheless, it's always good to sit down and watch some games with the boys. Have a couple
True.
beers.
Maybe a shot to
But we're gonna get into kind of what we talked about last week with our Super Bowl predictions. Kind of revisit that, see where we're at, see what's going on. Jason, your teams that you picked for the Super Bowl didn't play last week. You got a couple weeks of rest. What are your thoughts after Wild Card Weekend? Do you think there's any teams that played well enough to knock off either the Ravens or the Niners this weekend, or next weekend, I suppose, with the championship games?
Expect the unexpected. I did not expect this weekend to go like it did for the most part. So, I wouldn't say I'm as confident as it was when I first made the predictions. The Chiefs and the Bills being probably the biggest counters to it. Um, both those teams look like they could win and go out and beat anyone in the NFL last week. And again, the Chiefs, I believe, figured out their identity and can play good defense and not turn over the ball and win games. And if they continue to throw the ball to their only two good receivers, they can possibly win. But I'm gonna stick to my guns and still go with those teams. The Lions probably have the best chance to beat the 49ers. Do I think they will beat the 49ers? No. Calm down. Calm down, the people watching. All right.
All right, I like it. My pick, my AFC pick, still alive. The Chiefs. I unfortunately still believe in them. I think they have a bunch of championship caliber guys who have been there before, who know what it takes to get there. Andy Reid is obviously still one of the best in the game to do it. So I still think that they are going to be the AFC champions when it's all said and done. And on the NFC side of things, obviously the Dallas Cowboys are no longer in the running for NFC champions. They got embarrassed. They got smacked. Should have seen this one coming. Next year, I'm gonna put a reminder. Don't ever bet on the Cowboys in the playoffs ever again.
Put it on the board. You ain't even gotta make a reminder. Put it on the board.
Cowboys.
Yes,
I'm gonna write that in permanent marker so it stays up there. That ain't coming off. Yeah, that was embarrassing. All right, on the NFC though, I think, man, it might be a little bit of recency bias, but I'm gonna ride with the Buccaneers. I'm gonna do it.
Oh,
I'm
that
gonna
is
ride
super
with them.
risky.
That's risky.
Right.
Hey, they got Super
Hey,
Bowl
that's your
champions
son.
on that
That's
team.
your son.
They got Super Bowl champions on that team. Baker Mayfield is one of those guys, and I know I'm gonna regret saying this because it's the truth. He's one of those guys, when everybody starts believing in him, he's going to fall on his face. But he's got the world against him right now. He's like, oh, it's the Buccaneers, it's Baker Mayfield. They got to go play the Lions, man. The Lions are awesome. And if they win this weekend, say the Niners win, they're going to be like, oh, they got to face the Niners, man. They ain't going to do anything against the Niners. Baker Mayfield steps up in those scenarios. He steps up. He makes plays. He dices it up. Chris Godwin in the slot on a screen all day long. Give me the Buccaneers out of the NFC. I'm going to regret it next week when they get pummeled by 3 scores this weekend, but I'm going to ride with it. As for Ryan's pick, Browns obviously not in the running. He's still got the Lions. I'm sure he's riding high on the Lions right now after their performance against the Rams. No reason to change that. They look pretty darn good. I don't know who he's going to take out of the AFC. We'll talk to him next week when he comes back from his work trip.
Prediction. He's an underdog type of guy, so I bet he bets with the Texans, and that's probably who he wants to see win because they beat his team. So
yep.
I'm going to guess the Texans.
All right. Well, we're going to take a little bit of an intermission. We showed it last week. We're going to show a little bit of a cut up of our vlog that we had a month or so ago from when we went to the Jags and Browns game. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out on YouTube. It's in our videos page, whatever you want to call it. Go check it out. It was a fun time. It was fun to sit down and make the video. So fun to film it, get everybody's reactions to what was going on. Go check it out. It was awesome.
Side note, side note, we would love to be more active on social media. So if you are watching and you want to just, I don't know, message us on social medias, we would like to do some more things with that. And
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
Yeah. And if you have any suggestions for any other videos that you'd like to see, any topics you want to see us cover, please let us know in the comments. Shoot us a message on Twitter, follow us on TikTok, shoot us a message. We'll respond. We're those guys. We won't leave you on red like your girlfriend, all right? We won't do it. All right, here's the video. Check it out. Bucks, easy $20. We're at the Browns and Jaguars game. We made it to our seats. Jason, Duval County, how are we feeling before the game? Duval! Brian, Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, how are we feeling? Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Ho, ho. All right, it's going to be a good one. Stay tuned to watch. What do you think? Woo! Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh, 14-0, baby. Let's go. Oh, man. Jason, post-game analysis, what happened?
Not now.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Unnamed Sports Show. I'm your host, Jerry, with my co-host, Jason. That was a little cut up of our video, our vlog from the Jags and Browns game. Again, go check it out on YouTube. Leave us a like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, tell us why in the comments. There you go. That's how you get that engagement going.
Got him.
Got him. Follow us on social media at Unnamed Sports S. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. And also after our episode here, after our live show, you can find us on Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll be sure to upload the VOD to YouTube so you can check it out there as well. Now, we're going to get into what I think is the most exciting weekend of football out of the whole year. It is my favorite weekend because the wild card games most of the time are blowouts, right? Most of the time are blowouts. The conference championship is fun, usually good games, but you only get 2 of them. You only get 2 games, and it's on one day. And then the Super Bowl is obviously the Super Bowl. Divisional round, you get 8 of the best teams, 8 teams that have been tried and tested throughout the season. They've made it this far. They're fighting for everything. Sometimes you get an underdog like the Packers coming in, and then you have the juggernauts like the Ravens and the 49ers going at it. And it's on 2 days. You got Saturday and Sunday games. The NFL divisional round of the playoffs is here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see who goes to the conference championships. I'm excited. Are you excited, Jason?
I'm so ready for some more football. It's ticking slowly away, and I just want to hold on to it so it never goes away.
Oh, it's like a little baby. We only got 7 games of football left this season, folks. We're not counting the Pro Bowl because it's flag football. Yeah. We'll get into the first game here. Saturday at 4:30, we got the Texans going on the road to face the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens 9.5-point favorites with the over-under at 43.5. Again, these teams faced each other week 1. It's been a long time since then. We're going on 19 weeks since that game happened. What's going to happen, Jason? What's your prediction?
I got to stick with my guns. I love you, CJ Stroud, but the Texans are going to get pressured this game. The Ravens defense is not as good as the Browns, but it's one of the better in the league, and I think they're a little bit more focused and ready to win a Super Bowl. And I don't think you can only win with one weapon on offense, and that's Nico Collins, and against this Ravens team. And I said the same thing against the Browns, but I don't think I'll be biting my tongue this time. So 9.5 is crazy though. They are going to be able to score. I just don't think quite as often. It'll be a closer game. I see under 7 for sure. But I have the Ravens over the Texans. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't see any scenario where Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith aren't able to get pressure on CJ Stroud. They're definitely going to be dialing up blitzes. CJ Stroud pretty much all season has been, I wouldn't say necessarily like horrible against the blitz, but definitely like lower half of the league against the blitz. Which is, I was really surprised that the Browns did not bring their blitz packages and did not blitz more. Yeah, with Nico Collins pretty much being the only guy. I mean, that's the only guy you got to cover, right?
Right.
I know Singletary has been a real gem. He's been really good out of that backfield. But man, the Ravens, what they've done all season is they've been able to play to anybody's level. And they've been able to control games. They can blow you out. They can play close games and beat you last second. They can manage the game, hold a small lead. They've been able to do it all season. I think that's what's going to happen here. I think they're going to get up to they're going to make a couple stops on defense to start the game. And then jump out to like a 10-point lead. I think they score a touchdown on their opening drive, then are held to a field goal. And then I think from there the Ravens are just going to play ground and pound football. They just got freaking Dalvin Cook. Like the Jets did not use him. The Ravens are going to use him. The Ravens are going to find a way to use him. They've been kind of depleted at running back ever since J.K. Dobbins went down and now Keaton Mitchell. They're going to find a way to use him. They're going to keep the ball on the ground, chew up the clock, not give CJ Stroud any chance to come back into the game, to get back into it. And I think they do end up covering the spread. I think they win by exactly 10 points actually. I think it's going to be like the Texans are going to have a chance to come back into it, and then I think the Ravens get a fourth down stop like with 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and are able to just chew up clock. That's good. That's my prediction for the game.
Over under.
Under. I think the under.
I would agree.
Yeah. Again, I think the Ravens are just going to control the clock, control the game, and not give the Texans too many possessions. Yeah, that's the first game. Second game. What we all expected. The Green Bay Packers in the divisional round. Just like we all drew. They're going on the road to face my mom's, who's in the chat. Her 49ers back at it this weekend in San Francisco. 8:15 Saturday night. 49ers 9.5-point favorites. 50.5 is the over-under. I'm taking the over no matter what in this game. Like, ain't no way anybody's going to tell me any differently. I know the 49ers have a very good defense. I think the Packers are going to find a way. Jordan Love's going to find a way to get the ball to his receivers and score. But I think the 49ers are going to dominate for the most part. I think, yeah. 9.5 I thought was actually kind of low. I thought it would be like 12, to be honest with you. 11 or 12. So I'm definitely taking the Niners on the points. I think CMC is going to have a 2-touchdown game here. Brandon Ayuk's going to hit a big one. Deebo Samuel's going to get a screen pass that's going to go for like 70 yards and a touchdown. It's going to be one of those games where they just dice up this terrible Packers defense, unlike Dak Prescott was able to do.
Absolutely. I think also having the week off, they're well rested. Those injuries that might have been issues previously, probably not as big as an issue. You saw The last time I think we saw Brock Purdy had a disappointing game, or was that the week after
I think that
or
was the
before?
week before.
Either or, I think you're going to see him want to showcase his ability, and his best ability is to get the ball to his playmakers. And we're going to see some explosive plays. And yeah, the Packers can't stop that offense,
No.
and the 49ers defense can stop the Packers offense. Like you said, I definitely go with the over with the points. I do think it'll be a high scoring game. I just really see a big blowout here. And you know what? Here's my crazy prediction. I got 2 touchdowns, so my 49ers minus 14. I got Brock Purdy, 300 yards. Debo Samuel gets 100. Brandon Ayuk gets a. I'm gonna go 80. I will be a little safe there. We're gonna go 80. But Christian McCaffrey is going to have 200 yards on field, on ground, or whatever you want to call it.
200 scrimmage yards total.
Scrimmage yards.
Receiving and rushing. Okay.
Yes.
I thought you were about to say rushing. I'm like,
No. No.
man, 200 scrimmage yards for CMC this weekend.
That's my wild prediction, and I'm
All right.
sticking to it.
Well, if he's going to do it, this would be the game that he does it because the Packers
Absolutely.
can't stop nobody. And I
Not
said,
on the air, not on the ground.
yeah, he ain't stopping nobody. I said it last week. The only thing that's really stopped the Niners all season has been injuries and them having basically 2 weeks off because they rested their starters week 18. Gave them plenty of time to get healthy. Trent Williams should be back in full force. Yeah, I'm also predicting a 2-score game minimum. So definitely take Niners on the points, and please, if you're gonna listen to us on anything, take the over. Take the over.
We might not get right with anything else. We might be 0-10, but this over's gonna hit.
Absolutely. So that will wrap up Saturday's games. We're gonna move into Sunday's games. Starting at 3 o'clock, the other NFC bout. My new NFC champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going on the road to D-Town, Motown, the Detroit Lions, 6.5-point favorites against the Buccaneers, over under set at 48.5 as of this morning. Man, I know I just said the NFC champions were going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He's already pulling.
But how can you go against the team of destiny, dog? How can you go against the team of destiny?
You tell me. You tell me. Because I ain't going to listen it.
All right, I got to find a way to weave this in. You go off for a second while I think about it.
Okay, so what's actually going to happen? The Lions will win this game by a touchdown. I think, again, this offense is so explosive. They have weapons everywhere. Again, if Jameson Williams continues to just get better in this offense, you're going to have issues because you have 2 running backs that can be ones anywhere. You have already a one. You have a number 1 tight end. Like a top 3 offensive line. What more do you need? Like nothing. Absolutely nothing on the offense. The only issue I see is on this defense. While that offense for the Buccaneers is great, it's not as explosive as others. So Lions win this game, meet the 49ers in the NFC Championship, and the 49ers end up winning.
All right. I found the script. I got the script. All right, Lions go up to start the game. I think that is without a doubt what's going to happen. Lions are going to score in their first 2 possessions. 14-0 lead. I think Buccaneers falter, get stopped. The Lions' kryptonite all season has been them letting teams back into games. They've had a knack for doing it all season long. They've had trouble closing out games. So 14-0. Buccaneers get a field goal to end the first half. We go 14-3 into the second half. Buccaneers make those adjustments, get into a bend, don't break mentality, hold Lions to a couple field goals. Jared Goff does what Jared Goff does occasionally, forces a couple turnovers, a couple bad throws. Baker Mayfield.
I cannot deny that I have watched multiple games like that. So go ahead, cook, keep cooking.
He's there, right there, right there.
What do you mean?
But Baker Mayfield gets him back into the game. A couple of big plays to Mike Evans. They ended up kicking a field goal to win the game in Detroit as time expires and move on to the NFC Championship game. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you. Detroit, destiny is not going to arrive all the same. All right. It's not happening this year. Next year, I'm putting a future to start the season on the Lions, no matter what happens. But the Buccaneers win this game because of their experience, the Lions' inability to close out games, and the ability to let teams back into games. That's my prediction. I'm taking the Buccaneers. I'm also going to take the under. I think it's literally going to be like 47. 24-23 game. That's my prediction.
I'm gonna go higher.
Again with the Lions.
I'm gonna take the over.
Okay.
I think even if the Buccaneers win this game, it's going to be a shootout. It's either going to be the Lions demolish them or the Buccaneers and Lions get into a shootout. And like you said, Jared Goff fails, ends up going the Buccaneers' way with some last second stuff. But in my opinion, it'll be the Lions. But that being said, lowest I see is 28-24. I got the over.
All right. And you're taking Lions on the points?
Lions on the points.
All right. We might have a little side bet on this one. Might have a little back and forth here because we're taking exact opposites on this game.
Yeah.
So we might put a little something on it. We'll keep you guys updated on social media. Be sure to follow us there at Unnamed Sports S. Getting into the last game, the most anticipated matchup, I believe, the closest spread, the final AFC divisional round game. The Chiefs going in to Buffalo to face the Bills. Hopefully, we will not get another weather delay. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be super cold. I don't think we're supposed to get any precipitation. So it should be set for Sunday night at 6:30. Chiefs and Bills. Bills 2.5 point favorites. Over under 45.5. This is by the way Patrick Mahomes' first road game in the playoffs. He's never had a road game in the playoffs. He is the only games he's played in the playoffs have been home games and Super Bowls. So if you want to count the Super Bowl as a road game, I don't. Neutral site. But this feels like a classic Patrick Mahomes Chiefs win to me. What do you think?
This is going to be the best game of the week. I think by far.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is I have no idea what to think because if we get both teams from last week, I'm going under, and then I'm probably going Chiefs win by like a point because it's a tight game if they play their best game. I think the Chiefs defense is a little bit better, but I think Josh Allen has been playing better. Maybe that's because of his weapons that he has compared to Patrick Mahomes. But that being said, if anyone is going to sneak something through, it's Patrick Mahomes, and he is the best quarterback in this league. I will give him his credit when it is due. But give me Buffalo!
Oh my gosh. You gotta be kidding me.
I want to jump through a table with them homies, all right? Look, I'm tired of seeing this man in the Super Bowl.
You're tired of it? You're tired of it?
Uh-huh.
I gotta see him twice a year, dog.
Look, who did he beat last year, all right? I'm tired of it, all right? I'm getting... I don't want to see it no more. All right? So, Josh Allen, make up. If you stamp on it, if Josh Allen wins this game, If Josh Allen wins this game, I will draw up whatever old tweets I said about this man, and I will post them directly onto our unnamed sports show and flame myself for my freezing takes. And I will apologize directly on this show for whatever I've said to this about this man in the past. Because I do not want to see Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Give me Buffalo.
All right. Well, I hope Buffalo wins because I can't even express how much I hate Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. That being said, you said it yourself. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. Patrick Mahomes, a couple years ago, beat the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They left 13 seconds on the clock. That was too much time because he's too damn good. This feels like one of those games where we're going to get the best of each team on both sides of the ball. The offenses are going to show up and the defenses are going to show up. Who's going to crack first? I think the Kansas City Chiefs defense has been good enough all year to where I can confidently say that they are not going to stop Josh Allen, but they are going to hold him and kind of slow him down. This feels like a one-score game going into the fourth quarter, maybe even a tie game. Whoever has the ball last is going to win this game by a field goal at the end of the game, maybe even into overtime. I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like one of it feels like one of those games, and I think Andy Reid is going to be able to draw up something. They may even get a little bit of help from the refs, like they always do. But the Chiefs are going to pull this one out by a field goal. If it ends in regulation, it'll be by 1 point. 1 point to win the game. Like I said, whoever has the ball last is winning this game. I think it's going to be the Chiefs. And I'm getting the under in this game. I think it does not hit over 40. I think it's going to be like a 17, 16, 17, 14 kind of game. Very low scoring. Taking the Chiefs in the under.
Give me the Bills line. Win by a field goal at the end of the game or in overtime. And then give me the under as well. And you know what? I got something better. How about this?
All right. What you got?
I will still draw up the old tweets, but I jump through a table instead if he wins this game.
All right. I'm going to bet on the Bills just in the hopes that I see that happen.
Jerry, the way we've been losing our bets, you should probably bet on the Chiefs.
You're right. That's how I get the Chiefs to lose. That's how I get the Chiefs to lose. I bet on them. That's a good idea.
There you go.
By the way, did you see the tweets going around about how like the NFL is saying for the safety of Buffalo fans and players, we're going to postpone the game until Monday? And it's just a video of Bills fans literally on fire, jumping through a table that's on fire.
Yeah.
Like these dudes up there are crazy. That is definitely one fan base. If you're a part of that fan base, you are living your best life because those dudes are nuts.
Right,
and
like
that town is nuts.
it's a good type of nuts. It's not like Philadelphia nuts where the literally insane. Like you won a Super Bowl a couple years ago and you think your franchise is the worst. Like fire your head coach that got you to a Super Bowl last year. Like what are we talking about? Anyways.
Right. Yeah, they ran Doug Peterson out of town, and now they're about to run Nick Sirianni out of town. It's
no peace.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about Philly. They suck. They're out of the playoffs. We saw this one coming. But speaking of coaches, we kind of didn't talk about it last week because it was kind of a long show, and we knew with the wild card weekend and the recap of Week 18 what was going to happen. It was going to be a long show, so we wanted to cover the games. This week, we're going to get into the coaching carousel that's going on in both the NFL and a little bit in college football. But I think we had a couple of huge surprises coming out of Black Monday and a couple of days thereafter with some of the firings that happened. Specifically, the Titans firing Mike Vrabel and the Seattle Seahawks firing Pete Carroll. I was very surprised by those two. Arthur Smith I saw coming. Belichick I saw coming. I wouldn't be surprised if Dennis Allen gets fired, and wouldn't be surprised if both Sirianni and McCarthy end up getting fired.
If Sirianni gets fired, that is literally them folding to their fan base. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
he needs a better offensive coordinator, yes. He's still a good head coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I was also surprised today to see, and I wish Ryan was on to talk about this, but the Browns firing their offensive coordinator, their running backs coach, who they've had literally like the best running game in the last 5 years with Nick Chubb, who was obviously out. They still had a really good running game this year. And their tight ends coach, I believe, was let go.
Yeah, I didn't see their offensive coordinator. I definitely saw their tight ends coach and then their running backs coach. I'm like confused on their tight end coach because David Njoku, I mean, maybe it started slow, but oh my gosh, that end of the season run he had, insane. I mean, like he was averaging, I think, somewhere around 6+, 7+ catches a game, and like on probably 12 targets, like,
Yeah.
and he definitely carried the end of that season for them. I would say, I mean, yeah, the one game from Coop, but I think without David Njoku, I don't think they are in the playoffs. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
And
he was Joe Flacco's favorite target. Like,
yeah,
it was
like
I don't know.
you got a couple good plays from Harrison Bryant. I feel like when Harrison Bryant came in, yeah, it was a step down, but not everybody's second tight end is going to be as good as Harrison Bryant either. So like I don't
Right.
know.
Harrison Bryant would
Like,
be a number one tight end on a lot of teams, I think, specifically
yeah,
these guys.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he killed Ohio State. I don't know if we remember FAU in college, but he killed Ohio State.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, the running back situation too. Like, what is that? I mean,
Yeah.
then you got to think like, is it the running backs coach or is it Nick Chubb? Because you look at the other running backs on that team.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's hard to be naturally gifted with reading holes, but there's a way to be able to teach that. It's not like it's speed where like
Yeah.
you can't teach someone to be faster than what their max capability is at that.
Yeah. And maybe it was an issue with the schemes that were being drawn up by the offensive coordinator, who they let go for a reason. Maybe that's tied into it. I don't know. I was surprised to see it. Who knows who they'll try to find as an offensive coordinator. But that being said, there's a lot of vacancies. Obviously, we had the in-season firings of Staley, McDaniels, Reich. That's the Chargers, Raiders, and the Panthers. I think that's it. That was in-season, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And then we've had so far Ron Rivera with the Washington Commanders out. Belichick gone from the Patriots. Let's see. We've got Vrabel said earlier, Titans. Carroll with the Seahawks. Arthur Smith with the Falcons. Am I missing anybody?
I think you got them all.
I think that's it. Was surprised to see Eberflus stay with the Bears. Was surprised by that one. They let their offensive coordinator go as well. I've always said if you're firing your offensive coordinator and wiping house, but keep your head coach, you've got a problem. Just wipe house. Start clean.
It depends, in my opinion, on what type of coach that is. Like if you have a defensive-minded head coach or a player's coach, then maybe not. But in the sense of Eberflus, he's an offensive-minded guy, so he has some hold on that offense as well. Like that to me, it seems like a scapegoat, right? Like,
Right.
so yeah, I agree in this case, but there's some certain cases where you have a defensive-minded guy, and maybe their defense isn't bad, but yeah, you don't necessarily need to fix everything. Just fix the offense. So you got to bring in an offense coordinator that is going to run the full offense and not the head coach. But I mean, you also have some cases like Staley where he's just bad all around. It's like
Right.
just get him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Gone.
But
All right. So, question for you. Out
Yes.
of the vacancies right now, so we've got a handful of teams, almost almost a quarter of the league, actually
Hmm.
over a quarter of the league, has a head coaching vacancy right now. Who is the most attractive team? Who has the one, either the ready the skill and talent ready to go and make a playoff run right now, or a future that's set up for, whether it's draft picks, whether it's just young raw talent on a team? Who is the most attractive team for a head coach right now?
I think the team that's most ready to win is the Chargers. I think they just have cap issues that have to be figured out. But to me, my team, my brain, like ready to build, just you need a couple pieces. In my opinion, it has to be the Falcons because like you have a young receiver, a young tight end, a young running back, solid offensive line, defense is improving. Just need a couple pieces here and there to fill it in. That has to be the most attractive team to want to start up and build on yourself because you go to a team that already has personalities, already has a mind developed. It's hard to come in there and change their mindset, right? Unless you're already a winning head coach.
Right.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so unless you have that pedigree of winning, it's hard to go in there and be like,
Yeah.
follow me, I can take you here. No. Now, if I'm like a young offensive mind, and you're ready to start a team and build it to your liking and how you want it set up and how you want to run and what your personality is. I mean, kind of like how the Falcons did. I think you look at the Lions did, and you look at the Falcons, and you can see some similar things, right? But they already have the running back. They already have a number one receiver. You don't have to draft that. You literally just need to build a little bit extra.
Yeah.
And I think, in my opinion, that would be my favorite team. Now, that being said, if I was an offensive coordinator, I would probably look at the Bears job like,
Yeah.
well, we got everything in the world to work with.
Yeah.
Literally, you could go from Justin Fields or to having Caleb Williams and work with either one of them and be like, I have a plan and then a mindset to go for you.
Right.
Um, you probably draft a running back or bring in a running back. You fill out the offensive line and I mean, bring one more receiver in, and that team is
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
not no playoff competition to maybe winning to competing for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, they already showed that their defense is ready to go. They are very
Yeah.
good with Jalen Johnson and Montez Sweat now on the defensive side of the ball. And no matter what, you got to look at it this way: whether you decide to keep Justin Fields or you end up drafting Caleb Williams, you have an opportunity cost. You're getting something back there. You're getting
Yep.
an asset back, a different asset, no matter where you go. Whether you decide to trade Justin Fields for, uh, I mean, he's got to be
Oh,
worth a first round
rumor.
pick, right?
See, I before last week, I would have said no, maybe a second. After hearing some rumors I've seen, the Falcons might be willing to trade Justin Fields for a first round pick. And if you get the Falcons first round pick, uh, my mindset on keeping him changes because you
Yeah,
you get Caleb Williams and then you have two more first round draft picks in the top 10 to go get a receiver still and to go get a top offensive lineman still. I mean,
yeah. I definitely don't think
I
he's
can't be mad at
worth. Yeah, I definitely don't think he's worth like a top five pick, but I could definitely see like a mid first round pick. Like you said, a team like the Falcons,
that. Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of teams out there. The Denver. If they traded their first round pick for
Mm.
Justin Fields, I would be on top of cloud nine, bro. I would be the happiest guy in the world. Give me Justin Fields, please, please give me Justin Fields. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I mean, they get a mid first round pick and then end up taking Williams with the first pick. They'll have three first round picks, three, which is crazy.
Your mother just said Commanders are moving forward on Jim Harbaugh and they expect. Oh wait, that's not your mother, Jameson.
Are they?
Commanders are moving forward on Jim Harbaugh and are expected to offer him up a contract worth up to 150 mil.
No. Are they? Is it official?
I mean, probably nothing is official until everything's signed because I mean, there's probably still stuff to work out with Michigan and stuff there, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But
Also, this just in, while we're talking about head coaches, Dallas is not expected to make a head coaching change, and Mike McCarthy is returning for the 2024 season. That is Adam Schefter official.
wow. Yeah, no. That's
Wow.
why. I mean, if they didn't completely drop the ball, I'd be like, all right,
Yeah,
maybe another year.
if they competed in that game, right? If it
Yeah.
was a close game, sure. You
That
can't.
tells me Bill Belichick said no.
Yeah,
Jim Harbaugh said no. That's
that
what that
tells
tells
me
me.
Belichick is going
Probably to the Chargers.
probably to the Chargers. Yep. Yeah. So there's a lot of vacancies available. I do think that the Commanders is an interesting situation because you have the number 2 pick. You now have a new owner,
Yeah.
which is interesting. They have a lot of good pieces, and Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel. They have Brian Robinson. They did just unload a lot of pieces on the defense, so they basically have no defense, and we kind of saw that at the end of the year. But with a new owner, you never know what's going to happen and how the culture is going to change around that team, and if they're going to have another team name change or another uniform change. But I think it's an interesting situation. I think they have a good future to look towards. I don't think they're the most attractive. I would agree that it's either the Falcons or the Chargers. But I think it's an interesting scenario, and depending on who they get as their head coach, which I don't know why they wouldn't promote Eric Bieniemy to be their head coach. That kind of seems like a no brainer to me, but I don't know. Come.
I didn't say what. Anyways,
Yeah.
in my opinion, you know what popped through my head with drafting Jim Harbaugh? You know how he said JJ McCarthy is a generational talent?
Um.
You know what I'm saying? Like that would be my one worry with drafting Jim Harbaugh is him being like, guys, we can spend like a second or third round pick on this quarterback and he's going to be better than these guys.
But
But
he'd do it too.
I know that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think he would
He'd do
actually
it.
do it.
Yeah. No, please. Actually, you know what? I'm fine with that. Ruin a franchise. That's fine.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there's, I mean, could he be better than Drake May? Maybe. Is he better than Caleb, Penix, Daniels? Absolutely not.
Bo Nix,
And
no way.
Bo Nix. And if you're willing to, I'm still sus on Drake May. But if you're
Yeah.
willing to risk your job on that, that's pretty crazy. But I mean, John said it the best. Like Jim Harbaugh, kudos to him. He is one of the best team builders in the world, if not
Right.
the best. Um, he's able to definitely figure out a culture, get the culture to be centered on it, and then make everybody focus to that.
Right.
I've seen it with Stanford. You've seen it with Michigan. You saw it when he was with the 49ers for a year, or for his couple years there, and then yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah. So it should be interesting. There's a lot of coaches available. But all right, so last question. We'll move on after this. Who
Mhm.
do you think is the best coach available right now? Obviously, it's a they have to fit into the right scheme. They have to have the pieces, but who is the best coach available right now, not named Bill Belichick? Because he's the GOAT. You got to give it to him. But who is it?
Hmm. Like that got fired, or could they be offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators on other teams
I would
as well?
say, let's say coaches that were fired.
And then it's Vrabel, 100%. Um,
Mhm.
talking about another culture guy that can get his team to play better than um, what they're going to be expected to play. Like if that team had the same focus from head coach to their GM, that the Titans would be a playoff team and probably one of the top teams in the AFC consistently. But fortunately, they did not. The Titans GM saw more of a rebuild. Vrabel was like, well, "I'm not going to be a scapegoat, so fire me," right? So
Right. Yeah. I mean, he led Ryan
he's
Tannehill to an AFC
retired.
Championship game, but
Right. Ryan
yeah.
Tannehill, wide receiver Ryan Tannehill.
My cats. All right. Yeah.
Ganked.
No. Yeah. Game by cat. Yeah. I'd have to agree. I'd go with Vrabel as well. Led Tannehill to an AFC Championship game. He's a guy that gets you to buy in into what the team is about, what they're able to do. It's just like, it's what are you looking for? Are you looking for a guy like Vrabel who's going to be a all around guy who gets you to buy in, or are you looking for somebody who's like an offensive wizard, who's a defensive wizard?
I think that depends again on what type of team situation you have. You have a young quarterback. Like if I'm the Panthers, I'm not gonna go get Mike Vrabel unless you have an offense.
She's
Unless you have a.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
hold on. She thinks that the check mark on the piece of paper is like a toy, like a string. So she's like clawing at it.
uh,
Okay. But
that would
anyways,
be.
continue. I apologize.
Um. What was I saying? Oh, if you go get Mike Vrabel, I think you want an established defense, or you want your focus to be around your team's defense, right?
Right.
I don't think young quarterbacks prosper with that focus. Now, not saying you don't want to have a good defense when you're a young quarterback. It's just that you don't want your identity to be centered around that. You look at Patrick Mahomes, you look at Josh Allen, you look at Joe Burrow. Their teams might have had good defenses at certain points in their careers, but the focus has been on them. Even
Right.
Lamar Jackson, like when he went, they had a really good defense for the Ravens, but it was focused on Lamar's legs and being able to get him open and getting him to throw in the seams, which he's the best at. And I think if you have a defensive minded guy that can stunt some growth, now there are always exceptions to the rule. Um, look at Justin Fields, who didn't had an offensive minded guy and isn't doing the best because they didn't want to change the offense to fit around him. So again,
Right.
it's mostly about having someone that is able to um, be flexible with the type of quarterback you have. If you're not willing to be flexible, then you're gonna have some issues.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely tough to get all the pieces in place to be able to win a Super Bowl. The schemes all have to fit together, right? Like the players have to be able to play to a coach's scheme. The coach has to be able to coach his players correctly and have his players, play to the best of their ability while being, being in that scheme. Again, it's like a puzzle. If you have one piece out of place, I'm not going to say
Uh,
it's not impossible, but it's very hard to do. Whereas you have a team like the 49ers, who are just a well oiled machine, kind of plug and play. They play to their schemes. It's working, right? They've been the best team pretty much all year until they played the Ravens. But they when you watch that team, everybody knows what they're supposed to do. They know what their strong suits are, and they play to those strong suits. And Kyle Shanahan is notorious for highlighting
yeah,
those strong suits of his players.
agreed.
Um,
I think Kyle has been probably the best coach for a while now.
yeah,
Um, Here and there, Andy Reid, you can probably say, but I think Andy Reid got more blessed with a generational talent to add along with it, like Bill with
yeah.
Tom Brady. But
Sometimes it's that easy. Like sometimes
right,
players are
it
just
has to
good
click.
enough to fit into any system, and
Right,
you know,
and it has to click. But
Ty
yeah,
Lue
no,
wasn't a great coach, but he had LeBron James on his team. Like
facts.
it's just sometimes it's that easy. But yeah, that's a little bit of what's going on and the NFL coaching carousel. Um, Obviously, after the Super Bowl, the offseason is always an interesting time. I know it's Jason's favorite time of the year to get into the draft, talk about what's going on with free agency, who's trading what, who's signing where. It's always an exciting time. As after the Super Bowl, we'll get into all that, and I'm sure more firings are going to happen, and obviously we'll have a couple of hirings. So when that happens, we'll get into it a little bit more. But on the college side of things, we kind of talked about it last week with Nick Saban retiring, the legend, the demon, whatever you want to call him to some
Both.
people. Yeah,
Both.
undeniably the greatest coach in the history of college football. Dude has been an absolute juggernaut at Alabama ever since he went there. But there's a new face. It's going to be coaching the Crimson Tide. Who is it, Jason? Who is it? Tell the people who it is.
Deber, I believe is how you pronounce it. I could have botched that, but Washington's own Kalen DeBoer um, took his team to a national championship last year. While they did not win, or this year, I guess you could still say, while they did not win, I think this was probably the best opportunity for both sides. Washington isn't the same powerhouse Alabama is. They don't have the same. Honestly, I'm just be straight up honest. They don't have the same bank account. All right. Um,
Yeah.
while I think maybe the only other better choice that they could have got was Oregon's head coach previously worked for Alabama. It might have made things a little bit easier with the recruiting side of it. Um, Oregon has that Nike check. Why would you want to leave? You got two quarterbacks to come in. You're still pretty young as a team. Um, they're not skipping a step. While Washington did bring in a quarterback, not as going to be as good as Penix. Um, old, older, a lot older. A lot of the guys stayed for an extra year because they wanted to prove that they could make it to playoffs. They did so. So now
Mm-hmm.
they're leaving, and again, it's harder to get those recruits to come if you don't have the name or you don't have the bank account to
Right.
to pay some of these players. So on Debor's side, I think it's his best decision to take a step up. Honestly, you're getting promoted to the best head coaching job in the whole NCAA. Questionable Ohio State, Georgia.
Yep.
Um, uh, for Alabama, again, you need someone in there with a big name, proven winning record, and they brought that in. So um, while they are losing some recruits transferring, I think that has a lot to do with position coaches leaving and bringing in new position coaches. You win
Mm-hmm.
next year, everything gets quiet. You bring in a good recruiting class, and then you're on the same run. So they might skip a step here and there, but I don't think they'll be hurt as much. It's going to be very hard to ruin that program the way
Yep.
that Saban has set them up. So we'll
Yep.
see
I
how
would
it all.
agree. I would agree. I think it's also worth noting Washington moving into the Big Ten this year. They obviously got dominated by Michigan in the national championship game, and Washington doesn't quite have the recruiting class that some of the other Big Ten schools have. So I wouldn't be surprised if DeBoer kind of saw the situation. Hey, we're going into the Big Ten. We may be, a middle of the road Big Ten team, maybe upper half, but they're not going to be able to compete with the likes of Ohio State, Michigan, maybe even Penn State. Why would you not take the opportunity, the most prestigious coaching opportunity in the country? Take the chance, go to Alabama. Obviously, Nick Saban's shoes are going to be impossible to fill. Nobody will ever do what he did at Alabama. Another school may do it somewhere else. It ain't gonna happen at Alabama again. That being said, you said it yourself. Alabama is set up for success. Alabama is Alabama. They got the bank account. They got the blank check. They will set up their recruits so well. They have built a recruiting network that is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Obviously, nobody does recruiting better than Nick Saban, but DeBoer will not be far behind him. This should be interesting. I'm excited to watch Alabama this year, see what DeBoer does. I think he's a good fit. I thought Dan Lanning would be a better fit. I also thought Florida State's coach wouldn't have been a bad fit either. I was surprised to see him stay. But yeah, it should be exciting. And who knows who has Washington made a hire yet? I don't think they have, right? To fill DeBoer's
I don't
shoes.
think so. I do not think so. It might be. I think they're favored to hire their offensive coordinator, but I'm not 100% sure if he went with DeBoer or not.
Mm-hmm.
Let me check. Washington.
So
Yeah, does not look like.
So it should be exciting, no matter what. Alabama's going to be Alabama. They're going to be there.
True.
It's just, it is what
The way
it
life,
is.
the way life goes, but
Yeah.
I ain't gotta see like 6 in a row or whatever. All right.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, that's gonna wrap up the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna hit 1-10, 1-10 on the Moonshot.
How we look?
Games have already started. We'll give you the live update right now after I go through the spiel. Follow us on social media, please. At Unnamed Sports S. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube if you are watching there. We also, by the way, live stream on Twitter and Twitch while we're doing the YouTube. Yeah, we got it like that. And soon, once we get to the point, we will live stream on maybe Facebook, maybe TikTok. We'll be all over the place. What you got for us, Jason? How we looking?
We are looking decent. It's less than halfway through the game for the Bucks, and Damien's at 10. Donovan's at 14. Jared Allen is at 8 and has 7 rebounds already, so
Ooh.
that's looking good. A little dangerous with AP Aaron. He only has 4 points, but we still got 5 minutes left in the second quarter.
Is it a close game?
A good half. It is 36-31 for the Knicks.
Okay.
Julius has 10. Brunson has 9. Senging has 5 rebounds, though, so he's looking good there. Victor Wembanyama, rookie of the year for me, but influencing that at all, has 14 points. Jason Tatum is at 17 at half. And Bankero has 9 points with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. So we are looking looking good. Lots looking good. Need a couple players to step up here and there, but there's a chance. And when there's a chance, there's a belief that we can go 1-10.
I will say I've seen a lot of our bets, a lot of our moonshots look a lot worse at this point in the night. So I'm hopeful. I'll send the pray.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, we have a group chat and we always send a pray text chain with a bunch of dumb stuff on it. Well, anyways, that's the show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan will be back with us next week, hopefully, so we can get some more intake on how he thought the Browns of Texas game went. Want to hear him rant a little bit. Should be a good time. Please be sure. Yeah. Please be sure to follow us again on social media at Unnamed Sports S. Find us on YouTube, find us on Twitch, find us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts. We're all over the internet. We're all over the internet, dog. We're everywhere.
We'll be everywhere.
We're everywhere.
See us on TikTok Friday night as well.
Yeah. We're like Thanos. We're inevitable. All right. What do you got to say to the people before we go, Jason? Anything?
Yeah, just like I said, check out our social medias. Try to be more active on there for us so we can do some more fun things on the show for the show.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you 7 p.m. next Wednesday. Peace out.